I was alone in the subway. Then I heard a child's voice. The subway is an eerie place when it's empty. You don't realize how much you rely on the noise, the people, until it's gone. I've worked for the MTA for 7 years. I've seen rats the size of house cats, homeless people setting up full living rooms on the platform, even the occasional weirdo who thinks he's a demon. Nothing surprises me anymore, except for this. This story happened 2 years into my job. And even though I try not to think about it sometimes, on those late night shifts, I still hear that voice. The empty platform. I was working alone in Brooklyn, doing routine maintenance. It had been Horskam, Warwick Moore since I'd seen another person. There's something deeply unsettling about an very empty subway station. The place where thousands of people pass through every day, suddenly deserted. You ever been alone in a place that's never supposed to be empty? That's when I heard it, a loud, metallic clang. It was like a rock dropping onto metal. It startled me so bad I dropped my mop. I looked toward the tunnel. The darkness just sat there, silent, watching. I told myself it was probably a rat, or maybe a chunk of ceiling had fallen. And then, bang, the same sound, but twice as loud. I grabbed my flashlight and walked toward the tunnel entrance. I peered into the black void. Nothing. I should have left right then, but I didn't. The child's voice. Help. My stomach dropped. I turned sharply toward the tunnel. The voice was faint, but I knew what I heard. A child, alone. In the tunnels. What would you do? A kid in danger? My brain wouldn't let me ignore it. I stepped down onto the tracks, my boots crunching against the gravel. I shouted, "Hey, are you okay? Where are you?" Silence, and then just keep walking. Every hair on my body stood on end. Something wasn't right. My eyes finally adjusted and I could make out a small figure, a kid, standing a little ways into the tunnel. And then I saw it. Another shadow, much taller, standing directly behind the child. The trap guy froze. The child's voice came again, still hollow, still wrong. Just keep walking. My mind was screaming at me. Get out. Slowly, so slowly, I turned around and walked back to the platform. The second my foot hit the edge, the child's voice shouted, "Wait, where are you going?" I didn't look back. I ran up the stairs, grabbed my radio, and called the police. Cops showed up fast. They searched the tunnel for hours, and what they found still haunts me. They never found the child. They never found the man, but they did find something else. A single child's shoe, lying in the tunnel. Who was that kid? Who was the man standing behind him? The best theory I have? Some psycho kidnapped a child and was using him to lure people in. Maybe it was his own kid. Maybe he was teaching him to do the same. Or maybe it was something else. Something that wasn't human. Even now, whenever I'm alone in an empty station, I still hear that voice. Help, would you have gone into that tunnel? Let me know in the comments. And if you ever hear a child's voice in an empty subway station, don't go looking for it. You ever had one of those nights where you felt like someone was watching you? Because I have. And let me tell you, they barely made it out. I'm a graffiti artist or a delinquent, whichever label you prefer. I like to hit quieter spots where my work won't be seen. Places that time and people have forgotten. Abandoned train lines. Perfect. They're like a never-ending canvas. My friend Lucas doesn't tag, but he likes coming along. Maybe he enjoys the thrill. Maybe he just likes the company. Either way, that night, I wish we never set foot on those tracks. We were smoking, walking along a rusted-out freight train I found earlier on Google Maps. Strangely, the train was completely clean. Not a single tag. Weird, right? A fresh surface like this? Unheard of. I was hyped. I tossed Lucas a can and got to work. I was in the zone, throwing up tag after tag, the sound of the ball bearing inside the can rattling with every shake. 15 minutes passed, 2 cans down. I flung the empties behind me, enjoying the hollow clatter they made as they hit the metal. Then, clang. Hold up. Did you hear that? Imagine standing in the middle of nowhere, the only sound being your own breath. Then out of nowhere, something clatters in the dark behind you. What do? Do you turn around and check, or do you run? I'll give you a second to decide. Well, Lucas and I just stood there, frozen. It was too dark to see where the sound came from. Did something fall? Or did someone throw it? A minute passed. Nothing. I pulled out my phone and hit record. Bro, what the was that? No way. You heard that, right? Then another clang. This time, closer. Then something shot through the darkness. An empty spray can, one of mine. It was thrown at us. And that's when we heard it. A deep, gravelly voice. So close I could feel it crawl up my spine. You better not trip, boy. Then, bang. A gunshot. The moment it rang out, my body moved before my brain did. Lucas nearly tripped. I fumbled my phone. The recording cut off. We ran like hell. The tracks blurred under our feet. Another gunshot, this time farther back. We didn't stop running until we reached a main road, breath ragged, hands shaking. And here's the thing, I didn't call the cops. I couldn't. What was I supposed to say? Hey, officer, I was illegally spray painting an abandoned train when some psycho started shooting at me. Yeah, no thanks. But listen, this is where it gets worse. A few weeks later, I went back, during the day, armed. The train was still there, but my tags, gone. Someone had painted over them with blotches of red. And then I found the open train car. The inside was empty, except for a single chair in the dead center. Ropes were scattered on the floor, some wrapped around the chair legs, others lying limp, like something, or someone, had been tied there recently. And the smell. I swear to you, it was like stepping into a janitor's closet. That overwhelming, nauseating stench of bleach. The kind that burns your nose and tells you someone tried too hard to clean up something they shouldn't have had to clean up. I pulled out my phone to take a picture, and then, from somewhere further down the train, clang. I didn't stay to find out what it was, so tell me, what do you think was happening on that train? Because I've got a few theories, and none of them end well. Some places feel wrong the moment you step into them. You don't know why, you just feel it, a heaviness in the air, a pressure on your chest, like you're walking into something that wasn't meant to be seen. Have you ever been somewhere so silent that you could hear your own heartbeat? That's how I felt standing in front of that tunnel, watching the train disappear into its depths, and I was about to do something incredibly stupid. It was early summer. I was home for a week before heading to Germany, and I was bored out of my mind. No friends I wanted to see, nothing interesting to do. That's when I remembered something I hadn't done in years. Train hopping. You ever do something risky just for the thrill of it? For me, it was this. I knew an isolated stretch of track, deep in the woods. Trains passed through all the time, and I figured I'd hop on, ride it through the tunnel, and jump off on the other side. Simple. But what I didn't know was that something else was waiting in that tunnel. The first warning. I heard the train before I saw it. The rails started humming beneath my feet. I crouched low, heart pounding, waiting for the perfect moment. And that's when I saw it. A flash of light inside the tunnel. A small flicker, like a spark. But it wasn't coming from the train. I hesitated. Something about it felt wrong. But the train was moving too fast now. I had to go. I sprinted alongside, grabbed the ladder, and pulled myself up. I had no idea that the second I entered the tunnel, something was going to grab me. The hand in the darkness. Inside the tunnel, it was pitch black. No light, no sound, just the rumble of the train beneath me. And then I felt it. A hand grabbed my leg. I screamed, kicked violently. The grip loosened, but before I could move, another hand slapped against my ankle. What the hell was that? I scrambled up the ladder, gasping. My body was shaking, my mind racing. There wasn't supposed to be anyone in that tunnel. Now let me ask you, if you were in my position, what would you do? Most people would say, jump off the train. but I didn't. I was too scared. The train finally emerged from the tunnel, and I leapt off onto solid ground, rolling into the dirt. I turned back, watching the train disappear into the distance, and that's when the realization hit me like a truck. I had to go back through that tunnel to get to my car. The final choice. I sat there for a long time, staring at the gaping black hole in the earth, my only way home. And then I heard it. A noise, soft at first, almost human, like a tongue clicking against the teeth. What the hell was in there? I had no weapon, no flashlight, just my phone and a dumb idea. I held up my phone, took a deep breath, and shouted, "I have a gun! You better stay back!" The tunnel went silent. Then I hit play on a YouTube video. Gunshot sound effects, full volume. Boom! The sound exploded through the tunnel, echoing into the distance. I prayed it worked. Then I ran. Halfway through, I heard it again. The clicking, louder, faster. And then two figures, just standing there, facing me. I didn't stop running. I made it out, turned around, gasping for air. And that's when I heard it, a screech, the most human, animalistic, rage-filled scream I have ever heard in my life. It echoed through the tunnel, rattling my bones. I ran, and I never looked back. I don't know what was in that tunnel. I don't want to know. But sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet, I still hear that clicking sound in my head. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just my imagination. Or maybe it followed me. Did I make the right choice? What do you think was inside that tunnel? Comment below, because I swear to you, something was in there. And if you ever find yourself near an abandoned tunnel at night, stay away.